we caught up, which is, when I reflect on it, I thought it's a little bizarre. Like it was October 2nd, 2017. So I'd only just been ratified to get a new contract. And you're going on your never-ending quest for information, you know, the little grain of sand that's going to make the big difference and take you to be the best you can be. You remember where we met?
I do, at the Gilson.
Yes.
South Yarra.
Yeah.
I remember I was actually pretty nervous. Obviously, you're an opposition coach, so it was probably a bizarre message you got from me, but I remember asking Tom Langdon, who I was good mates with, if I'll get your number, and I was just keen to pick your brain.
Yeah.
And yeah, luckily you responded and we got a coffee, which I think you shouted me a coffee too, so I probably owe you one.
Bonus. Done that very often. I sent you a message after it. I had a look back and I said, you're on the right path, mate. Make sure to smell the roses as you go. So you've been able to do that? Do you realise where you are and what you're doing? And do you have gratitude for this opportunity that's still in front of you, like from this moment on? Yeah,
it's funny. I probably through 2019, 2020 didn't smell the roses at all. I was very much head down. Just wanted to flag. How do we win?
Yeah.
You know, every loss felt like the world was over.
Yeah.
Every win felt like this is amazing. Let's keep going. Probably 2021, after a bad 2020, that I was driving to the G. I remember it so clearly now. We're out of finals. We're playing Richmond, and it had been, 2022, an eventful week with the club, with the coach, and a lot going on. And I was driving to play Richmond last game, and I put on some top hits music from the 90s, early 2000s, some really sing-along type pop music that I'm not a singer, but I was singing in the car and I was just by myself in my own thoughts. I'm like, how good is this?
How good?
Like, we're playing at the G in front of Richmond, two big clubs. There's going to be 80,000. Like, life's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I went there. I probably had my best individual game. We got smashed by 60 or 70 points. It was a tough night.
Yeah.
The coach was sacked a week later. It was a tough time, but I just remember that sort of half an hour on the way to the game and the feeling I had of just like everything, just like the weight off my shoulders. And I just felt so clear in the game, so sharp, like really sharp during the game. I'm like, geez, I need to bottle that up. Yeah. So last year, every game I went to, I'd normally just play
the same playlist,
some funny music, or just reflect on how lucky and fortunate I am sort of to do what I do. And being able to lead the boys out first now, that is almost the most special moment of the week. I definitely smell the roses now, doing the toss. Being able to speak to 21 other blokes when the crowd's roaring, the siren's about to go, like that stuff is just gold for me and something I'll never get over. That's just almost like pinch myself a moment every week.
When we caught up in 2007, I must admit I didn't know about the background and your mum being diagnosed with MS before you were born. What has that taught you about, you know, gratitude and resilience, the way that she's handled that affliction?
I think Mum was so dogged and so resilient to not show any pain or any suffering that, for me, my upbringing felt extremely normal. You know, whether it be Mum throwing tennis balls to me in the backyard for hours while I'm practicing cricket, or coming to watch sport, even though she was either wheelchair bound or with a walking stick, it was never, ever like a thing that would stop her from doing something. So I just felt it was somewhat normal. Yeah. I think my older brother, he was an amazing role model, an amazing friend, and someone I think that probably guarded me a lot from things. And he was a bit older, so he probably experienced it a little bit differently to me. But I just felt, to be honest, really normal. I knew that she was tough. She could see things in hospital or when she get home, or things she couldn't do, or tired after a weekend away in Warrnambool playing cricket, or Melbourne playing footy, and then we get home and she's tired for a week. You can sort of observe that stuff, but I was just too focused on doing my own thing, probably.
Yeah, and there's a little bit about swallowing the things that aren't going in your favour, or the things you can't control, and then just moving forward with the things you can. Yeah,
I actually explained this to the boys the other day. I feel like I was a bit of an excuse kid. I love sport. I loved every sport, but I hated losing. I was a sore loser. Would complain or make excuses as a kid. You know, it wasn't my fault that I ever lost. Whether it's table tennis against my grandma or a game of cricket. It was actually my dad. I'd made a very low score in cricket, and I think I blamed the pitch or something. And it was probably the first time he, you know, firmly and sternly sort of sat me down and basically just said, "Don't make excuses," and just hit me straight between the eyes. I would have been 15 or 16. at that age, and from that moment it just completely changed. Sort of just burst a bubble, and to this day I feel like I'm very strong and very good now at just taking whatever happens. I've had a very different career with coaches, Asada, a lot of players coming and going. It's been a very indifferent career, but everyone's journey is different, and I'm sort of head first into whatever mine looks like.
Well, part of that career was with your brother.
Yeah.
And you said that obviously he was a little bit ahead of you, and you might have had to absorb some different, and protect you in some shape or form. How was that, like putting on the same Guernsey on the MCG, playing with your brother?
It was amazing. It was because we were 2.5 years apart growing up. We never actually got to play together growing up. He was very talented junior as well, so he was always ages above. And I think we actually played one game together when I was 8 or 9. And I sat on the bench. Used to rock up every week with the jersey, just hoping I could get on, but I only got on once. So we only played a quarter of footy together our whole career until I got to Essendon. And we were texting draft night because there was no real expectation Essendon would take me. And then 2 days later, I'm basically moving down to Melbourne to live with him. So it was a bit of a roller coaster moment. And then 6 months later, I'm running out on Marvel Stadium with a sub vest, but ready to play AFL footy in front of 40,000 with my brother. So it was crazy how quick it happened, but he was amazing, teaching me from how to live life, washing, cooking, how to live an elite lifestyle. He was very disciplined, so he sort of showed me the ropes, how to live 24/7 as an AFL athlete.